We begin with a tale of two symbols, one in stone and one in music. The Capitol, whose soaring dome is a visual display of the power of our national government. Copland's Fanfare for the Common Man, whose stirring music celebrates the desire of ordinary men and women to be included in the exercise of that power. The challenge is to embrace both symbols. How are we doing? It depends on who you ask. Some say that this is the best of times, and others, well, they say that there is room for improvement. Hi, my name is Bella Ayugi. I'm a communication major at the Anza College. In March 2007, I went to Washington, D.C. to hear firsthand what people in and outside of the government think about the quality of communication at the national level. I asked them how well our country is doing in involving citizens in conversations about issues that affect us all.
People are disenfranchised, and it's not because of the people, it's because of the government.
Honor and trust makes a lot of difference in a lot of people, you know. When people feel like that they have a part and they're taking part in decision making, then, it makes people feel better about their country and where they live,
If you don't agree with us, then we don't want to listen to you, we don't want to talk to you, and so I think a dialogue is what we need.
We're going to have a lot of discussion about education leading up to the 2008 election for president, and every candidate will have some position, but they probably don't have an open mind. It's their position, period. Now, maybe if they become president, they'll understand they have to have flexibility. I think it was Senator Dirksen said he was a man of unbending principles, the first of which was flexibility. I mean, you got to be able to give, and you can't, the standards, I will not give 1 inch. So open minds, pretty hard to come by in this town.
The Constitution guarantees the freedom of speech, but it does not say anything about the right to be heard, to have a response, or to engage in genuine conversations with public officials. Even though nothing is preventing them from voting, sending an email, participating in a rally, or shouting from a rooftop, many people feel that they have something more to say that is substantial than can be expressed in a vote yes or no, or tallied in a count of emails against or for an issue that is framed by somebody else. Every person I spoke with said that they would gladly participate in national conversations about issues like healthcare, immigration, education, and social security, and that these conversations could help us move forward on policy decisions.
I think when you involve the people, then they become part of the process of implementing the decisions. They don't raise a lot of arguments about it. I think it's just good for the welfare of the economy, the state. It's easier to work things out.
I think it's important that people feel involved and invested in what's going on. I think there are so many critical issues affecting this country right now that we're not doing anything about, we're not having any kind of discourse about, and we need to start paying attention.
And I think it is important for citizens to be able to be part of a process that makes decisions leading to their lives, and I think that is something I'd be willing to be part of.
I mean, if we knew what people really wanted, then the amount of lawmakers here saying that people want this, or some lawmakers, people want this, and there seems to be the lawmakers don't really know what people want.
Matt Leininger is Executive Director of Deliberative Democracy Consortium. In his book, The Next Form of Democracy, he said,
"It was an offhand comment, blurted out by someone in a crowd of people. The room was full of citizens and public officials. They were talking about why there was a lack of trust between the residents and local government in Lakewood, a small city just west of Denver. The mayor and city manager just didn't understand how taxpayers could be dissatisfied with a city administration which had won awards for efficiency and innovation. Finally, someone said it. Look, we know you're working hard for us, but what we've got here is a parent-child relationship between the government and the people. What we need is an adult-adult relationship." It was the perfect summary of what I'd been watching in communities all over North America for the last 10 years. A dramatic generational shift in what people want from their democracy.
The basic idea is that the way we talk about issue has consequences. The way we talk enables and it constrains us. The usual form of talk in politics is argument. Two sides, each taking positions, then defending one position and attacking the other. This is the form of talk we hear on the floor of the House and the Senate, and that we read every day in our newspapers. Some good things happen in that form of talk. However, argument hasn't been a very effective way of addressing the broken system of healthcare since Hillary and Bill Clinton's proposed solution 16 years ago. Argument hasn't been a very effective way of addressing the war in Iraq. Argument hasn't been a very effective way of addressing immigration, Social Security, abortion, education, post-911 national security, etc., etc. When there is a mismatch between the issues that we are facing and the forms of talk that we are using to address those issues, doing more of the same or the same thing with more energy doesn't work. We need to find a way of doing what we are doing differently.
The National Coalition for Dialogue and Deliberation brings over 400 organizations that have devised new ways of talking. These ways of talking make it possible for citizens and government officials to have adult-adult conversations. They make it possible for citizens to help officials overcome political gridlock. They make it possible for common men and women to participate in the exercise of power. Here are just 3 of the hundreds of examples.
Kettering Foundation has developed ways of naming and framing issues that promote deliberation rather than debate. People who are participating in these forums develop more complex understanding of issues and work through the hard trade-offs involved in policy formation. They develop the kind of public judgment that, Senator Jeff Sessions said, empower public officials to speak the truth about controversial issues.
America Speaks has developed ways of taking democracy to scale. Their 21st century town hall meetings make it possible for hundreds and even thousands of people to work together in developing policy.
For 15 years, the Jewish-Palestinian Living Room Dialogue Group, led by Len and Libby Trautman, has been meeting monthly to discuss issues that most people would say are undiscussable. This is the oldest sustained dialogue group of its kind in North America. Their work has expanded to include conversations with people of all ages and backgrounds. These dialogues are changing the nature of relationships from mistrust and fear to openness and understanding.
These ways of working have a demonstrated track record in other countries at the national level, and in this country at the local and regional level. Why not in our country at the national level? We began with the tale of two symbols, the challenge of honoring both. What if we rethought the role of communication in public life? What if we saw the public communication not just as a means of individuals to express their opinions, but as a site for communal listening and deliberation? What if we saw the issues confronting us not primarily as battlefields between Republicans and Democrats, but as opportunities for collaboration between citizens and office holders? What if constructively collaborative forms of communication replaced or were a complement to argument in dealing with war, healthcare, education, immigration, Social Security, and post-911 national securities? Given the stakes, can we afford not to take these questions seriously?